getting all I can get. Live the lifestyle of a wise guy, pretty women and zips. Yeah, I'm a hot boy.
You can bet your ass I'm a hot boy. Yep, I'm a hot boy.
Life is a hot bar. Pretty women, fast cars, toting toasters. Better watch who you get close up, cause a nigga could be after your throne. People always testing the strong. Best believe one step in his own. I'm a wise guy. Keeping it quiet with bullshit that rise. Everything kept on the hush. Some shit ain't never discussed. Loose lips can get you locked up, carried away.
Only troops that pay dues know where you stay.
I didn't see the poles running where people lay. Sitting on about a key. I can't let that shit happen to me. Never stash out when you crash out. Gotta be quick on your feet.
So I don't know what happened, but my partner is not here. But anyway, we're gonna rock on. I want to welcome everybody to the King and I Life podcast. I am one half of the crew. My name is Sun Soul Lex, and my partner's Soul Toucher is somewhere out there right now, but he'll be coming through. So tonight we're going to be discussing global connectivity. Uh, as we all know, we have many allies around the world, as well as we have many foes, as they say. But on a bigger scale of things, we all trade with each other, uh, either publicly or privately. We have such things as restaurants like McDonald's and Burger King, Wendy's, that are established around the world in different countries. So, but anyway, before I go on, if you guys want to reach out to us, you can find us at KingAndEye 369 at gmail.com. Again, if you have any questions, comments, or if you would like to be a guest on the show, please feel free to reach out to KingAndEye 369 at gmail.com.
Did the intro play?
Somewhat. You disappeared for a minute there, so I just had to wing it, man. I had to wing it.
Wi-Fi was acting up. I was like, "What's going on here?" I'm like, "Did my Wi-Fi crash?"
Because you were there and then you were gone. I was like, wait a minute, we live.
Right? I was like, "Oh no! Wait a minute here! Oh man, where we at with it? Where we at with it?"
I was just telling our viewers that how they can reach us.
Oh man, bro.
But again, you guys can find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and of course, you can find us on all of your major podcast platforms.
Bonbons and all that good stuff. Oh man, let me see. If you want to join, the link is there. The link is there if you want to join us live. Um, but yeah. Did you already tell the people we talking about?
Yes, I did. I skimmed over it there a little bit.
All right. Think you got a little. Is that me? Yeah, that was me. That was me. Feedback in the mic. Oh my god, I don't even know what's going on today.
One of them days.
Man, it is one of those days. Yeah, but we talking about you told me talking about global connectivity.
Yes, sir. This discussion actually came up last night while we were doing a pre-recording, and we were talking about things going on around the world, especially with the whole um, war situation going on with Russia and what's the other country?
Ukraine.
Ukraine. Thank you.
Yeah, them folks.
But we were sitting there having a discussion about how each country is basically connected to every other country, either through trade or through being allies or whatever the case may be. But anyway, so that's where we're at right now.
Yeah. And the thing about it is I don't think a lot of people know how globally connected that every country is to each other. Um, I mean, especially if you don't, you know, again, no shots to anybody for whatever, but especially if you don't care too much about politics and world news and all this, that, and the other. I know people are aware that, we get stuff from China and, because you always look at the, labels and stuff made in China, made in Taiwan, made in Mexico, and this, that, and the other. But um, in the bigger picture, you know, every country is linked to each other in some kind of way, which to me, when you look at stuff that goes on in America, and like I was saying to you last night, you know, I get, everything that you are passionate about, this, that, and the other, but in the grand scheme of things, a lot of the things that we complain about here, as important as they are to us individually, it's so small in the big worldly picture.
True, true. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it. Um, so did you know that the world was so globally connected as you pointed out to me earlier today?
Um, I knew for a while, um, but it took me a while to really, really understand just how globally connected we are. Because again, if you look at it, foreign car makers have factories here. We have car factories in countries all around the world. Um, we get all types of products from around the world, to from steel to gas to, I mean, oil to rubber, uh, all types of stuff. You know,
Furniture, computers,
yeah, all that
electronics.
stuff,
I mean, like,
and it's crisscrossing the world, and so yeah, I knew, but it took me a while to realize exactly how connected we are. What about you?
I knew that we did a lot of trading, of course, around the world, but the stats that you sent me earlier, I had no idea we were that deeply rooted
Hmm.
as far as being connected. But yeah, it's one of those things you think about it, but you don't really go in depth about how deep it is as far as like how connected throughout the world we are.
Hmm.
Um, I say in a lot of places that I've traveled to, our music is just everywhere, and
Hmm.
that was one of the things that actually surprised me the most about visiting foreign countries is how big the music from the US is.
Yeah, and we know that from going to school in Germany. 80s and 90s, we knew our music was over there, but when you really look at it, music is small. Um, it's I mean, it's it's small in terms of all the stuff that goes around the world,
Right.
but culturally around the world it's massive. Um, and one thing that I wanted to point out though, and I wish like we had a listener from another country that could also chime in on this, but um, a lot of people look at stuff like this and they look at it as secrets, agendas, and this, that, and the other. And I know a lot of people don't really comprehend it, but a lot of this stuff is easy to be found. Like the stuff that I sent you, that comes
Hmm.
from the Office of the United States Trade Representative, and that's the executive office of the president. So there is actually a government office that does this stuff. Um, and like you can go on there and you can look at every country on this planet that we have trade agreements with. And to some, it might be mind blowing, and some it might be utterly shocking.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when I was going through the list, I was like, wow, okay. But the thing that really amazed me more about it was when you sent it to me was the fact that it's public knowledge.
Exactly.
But,
Exactly.
but how many people actually take the time to look it up? That was the thing that, kind of amazed me more about it.
You know a lot of a lot of the stuff that a lot of us have concerns about or issues about or whatever the case may be, when you do a Google search, one thing that I know about a lot of people, especially a lot of skeptics, they will not go to government websites where this information is. They'll do a Google search, they'll find a YouTube video or some, random article or a news clipping or whatever the case may be, and they'll go off of what they're reading from there. So,
Mhm.
for instance, if you watch anything like CNBC where they talk about trade, this, that, and the other, they may talk about some of this stuff, but then they're not going to talk about it in the context of what the links that I sent you. They're
Right.
not going to go down those paths. Um, and that's the thing about it, because they either give us surface information, half information, or misleading information. And that's not to say that information on government websites or official websites in whole are 100%. But when you want to know something like specific like that, you know, unfortunately or fortunately, the best source is a government website.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one thing about it is they put the information out there, but when you're putting out a document, just one document, that's like 7,000 pages.
That part right there. Yep.
Who is actually going to take that time to go through those 7,000 pages? I mean, let's be
Right.
honest about it. Not many people have that kind of time on their hands.
I totally agree with you. And there is a lot of information out there to where, you'll look it up and you'd be like, I'm not reading this shit. It's too much. It's just too much. And for some information, it's I don't want to say purposely written like that, but that's the way it's formatted, because they have to
Right.
have, specific parts of this document that have to be there. But they also have, websites or whatever the case may be that have links to specific information, or they have outlines of the information on these specific websites. So to a degree, it's easy to find if you really, really know what you're looking for. Or, you know, one thing that's good about online searches or whatever is if you put certain keywords, it'll take you right to certain information. For instance, what I sent you,
Right.
I looked up countries the United States have trade agreements with. It gave me a whole list of things, but the first thing I clicked on was that government website.
Yeah. Yeah. Another thing about it is they have to put certain words and phrases and technical terms into these
Yes,
documents. It's
it's
kind of like,
mandatory.
yeah, they make it kind of easy to understand, but kind of difficult to understand because if you're not familiar with certain terms and phrases, you don't know what the hell you're reading.
Yeah, yeah. What's up, Miss Ty? What's up? What's up? Congrats on your achievement, getting
Yeah, shouts
monetized and
out
everything.
to Red Lipstick Vibes.
You gotta go check out definitely. But yeah, it's it's one of those things that the average person who has no interest in the devil in the details, they're not going to find this, and they're going to look at certain things and be pissed off. For instance, like we were talking last night about the war, when you talk about gas prices and everybody's saying the president, the president, the president. No, we're not talking about zombies tonight. um, but people talk about the president, the president, the president. But what everybody got to realize is, we have trade agreements with all of these countries around the world. So if something goes on over there and we have a trade agreement with that country, of course it's going to affect us. Um, and like I was saying last night, the way I summarize this global connectivity is everyone is fucking everyone in the ass and slapping each other in the face. And that's pretty much that's what it has been, that's what it is, and that's what it's going to be until the end of time.
Yeah, I mean, you can't put it any simpler than that.
That's the best way you could put it.
But the thing about it is, what people fail to realize is not as simple as the president, sitting in the Oval Office and giving a command or an order.
Right.
Um, there are so many steps and so many channels that have to be, crossed and in line in order to make anything go through. Um, and again, when you see the president on television and he's signing this document and that document, that's like the last page of like who knows how many sheets of documents that had to be gone through and read, and you know a team of lawyers going through. So again, it's never as simple as just watching him sign that document. A whole lot of preparation and years of work have gone into that one single signature in some cases.
Yeah, and unlike a lot of these other countries, the president is just a figurehead. Um, you know, Congress approves all of this stuff that goes on. So when people want to say the president, that joke is just signing papers, really. The lawmakers approve all this stuff. So, you know, like I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, Biden is trash. Biden this, Biden that." Fair enough. Have your opinions about Biden. For whatever, it doesn't matter to me. But I mean, unless you're looking at everything that's involved in all of this, some of these, and this is one of the reasons why I said I don't want to talk about politics with people, because they don't have well informed opinions for some of them. Um, and it's like the people I know a couple people on my friends list on Facebook, they complain about gas prices, this, that, and the other. And it's like you drive a car that needs premium gas and you're complaining about gas prices, and it's like you're racing your car. You got a V8, with reworked engine, transmission, nitrous, and all this other stuff, fat tires, and you on a strip, but you complain about gas prices, and then you're blaming Biden. But it's like, bruh, how about you make better decisions on the type of car that you drive, or if that's the car that you want to drive, stop complaining.
Exactly. Yeah, he is definitely not making all these decisions on his own. Um, Again, it's so much red tape and so much dealing and willing, as they say, that goes on before anything is actually even brought to the public's eye. Um, as far as like what bills they're trying to make and what changes to laws they're trying to, you know, to push through, and especially when it comes to trade agreements, it's just a lot.
Yeah. So while we're on that, let me throw this out there, and I'm
All
gonna throw
right.
the link to it, or not after I finish it. So U.S. goods and services trade with Russia totaled an estimate of $34.9 billion in 2019. Exports were 10.9 billion, imports were 24 billion. The US goods and services trade deficit with Russia was 13.1 billion in 2019. And I'll read this other part. Russia is currently our 26th largest goods trading partner with 28 billion in total. Two-way goods trading during 2019. Goods exports totaled 5.8 billion. Goods import totaled 22.3 billion. The U.S. goods trade deficit with Russia was 16.5 billion in 2019. Now, with that being said, and there's the link to that. Um, you talk about as we were talking last night, this thing with Russia and why certain things are not happening or not going to happen. This is one of those reasons.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, everyone's economy is dang near wrapped up in everyone else's economy. Um, Again, we have things that go on in the public light, as they say, or in front of the cameras. But then you have so many other things going on that we have no idea about that are in the shadows, as they say.
Right.
But again, when everyone's economy is connected, through trade, it's kind of hard to exactly step on your partner's toe without
Right.
stepping on your own toe.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, I mean, that's what it is. I mean, it's as crazy as it is, people just don't, you know, and again, I know people don't care about some of this stuff. It's just not on their radar, but you have to realize the state of the world today, I mean, and again, it's been like this for, a long time.
Yeah, definitely. So, how does the world being globally connected affect your outlook on the United States?
Um, so I have to answer this kind of two ways, as a civilian and as a military person.
All right.
Um, for me, and I'm going to kind of like combine my thoughts. It's kind of disheartening because it kind of puts us in a position to where we really can't move in a certain way because it's going to affect our economy. Period. No matter what we do, um, just like the world, NATO, and all of that. We're putting Oh man, yes we are. NATO and everybody putting sanctions on Russia and all this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, that affects us. It affects us like directly. Um, so we felt the pain at the pump. Going to hell in gasoline draws because that's where it is. Um, then we have to think about how it's going to affect us when it comes to our taxes next year when we start filing. So, and then, the president was talking about this gas tax, and it's like, what the hell does that mean? Like, you know, it's still going to hit us somewhere because we, unfortunately, you have to realize that, as we pay our federal taxes, we're paying for everything that's going on.
Exactly. So that was your military
Yeah.
version there.
That was a little combination of both.
Oh, okay. Okay. Um, the way I see it is this, right? Everyone, as far as I know, as far as us being Americans, we want to take pride in our country, and of course, you should.
Hmm.
A lot of countries around the world, look to the U.S. for guidance and the way that we do things and handle things politically. Um, but the way I see it is, if you're always being the bigger person, it kind of wraps your hands up to take
Hmm.
care of things in a more practical way.
All right.
Meaning, um, some of the people I've talked with, they're like, let's go over and slap the shit out of Putin and go to war
Hmm.
with him and all that craziness. Like, no, we're
Yeah.
not going to do that because
Yeah.
one thing is about it is you have to go the political route. You can't just go over there and start dropping bombs and raising hell, as they say.
Right.
Again, because we are so connected. Um, Everyone's economy is connected together,
Yeah.
and it's kind of hard again to punch someone else without you feeling that punch. And again, with this whole war situation at the gas pumps, we're feeling the effects of a graze, in layman's terms. But If we were actually to go to war, um, and God forbid it started World War III, everyone's screwed.
Yeah.
So I think the political route is right now the only option that we can explore and still everybody kind of maintain a normal life, as they say.
Right. Um, I did not hear about Russia, Iran, and Turkey forming an alliance, um, but I wouldn't be surprised. But no, actually, I would be surprised because Turkey is a part of NATO. So I would be surprised if they formed an alliance. But the thing about this global connectivity, and I'm glad you brought that up, Ms. Ty, is that yes, we have allies and we have countries that we don't rock with like that. But us as little people in this puzzle, um, we have to keep in mind that our allies also have the same trade agreements with these other countries. So, again, it's just that weird thing that we can't control.
True.
Um, why we keep sending money, all this money over where? Are you talking
Ukraine.
about to Ukraine? Are you talking about to Israel? Are you talking about to Iraq? Are you talking about to South Korea? Where are you talking about? Because we send a dollar everywhere. Um, that I could you know what? Um, my best guess, best assumption, and from what I kind of know is we send money to these places because we have alliances and they're trade partners and we have a vested interest in certain places. Um, so it's kind of like you got to pay to play. You got to. How can I put it?
Pay to play. That's the best way I know to put it.
How can I put it? On every level, the government, the every level, every government around the world does stuff that you and I will get arrested for.
So true.
And what I mean by that is, you know, the United States can have deals with the Russian economy, government, or whatever. But if you or I had some type of dealings with a Russian citizen, whether it be a relationship or a financial type of thing, we'd be in trouble.
Yeah, certain people be knocking on our door.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Almost $9 billion to help a war. You know what? We were talking about that last night. Yeah, yeah, they doing Rico. They doing serious Rico. Yo, yeah. Let me trade $5,000 with a Russian person. I'm done. I lose my clearance and all that stuff. But yeah, we were just talking about this $9 billion to help forward. Did you want to comment to that, Son Solex?
Yeah, we're talking about how much money we are sending over there, and we got into the discussion of, is it better to send money or is it better to send troops? Um, I won't tell you the outcome of that conversation.
But basically,
Yeah, yeah. Basically, in a nutshell, where it stands right now is we're just sending money. So again, that's out of our hands as the American people to a certain degree, but it is what it is.
yeah, Ms. Todd, I think we kind of had a difference of opinion on a grand scheme of on the outsides of it, but at the heart of it, we agreed that we shouldn't be sending nothing over there because um like Sun Solex was his opinion pretty much was, Russia's going to do X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. And, we doing this and we doing that. And I was like, well, yeah, we're doing all this and we would probably be better off doing X, Y, and Z. But at the end of the day, if Russia keeps doing what they're doing, that $9 billion that you talked about was sent over there in vain. Because if Russia keeps doing what they're doing, they take over Ukraine, we're not getting that money back. It's a loss. And who pays for it? We do. But again, and that does not, to jump back to the topic, that really does not disrupt that global connectivity, especially the part that we have at Russia and China. Yeah, we said that as well. Yeah, we said we should take care of our own. But again, we're not gonna go into the details of what all we discussed. But yeah, I mean that was pretty much our conclusion. We need to mind our own business. Some people may say it's heartless, some people may say this, some people may say that, but at the end of the day, um, more and more, especially in these times in our country alone, the average US citizen is fickle when it comes to what they want to support and what they don't want to support. You saw hashtag Ukraine all over the place, but we got hashtag homeless people in America. You know,
Yep. So that leads us into the next talking point. How big of a role does wars actually play on world economies?
it plays a big part because everybody has to pay up. Everybody has to pay up. And, when you look at it, again, when you look at it from this global connectivity thing, you know, everybody needs something from somebody. So all these bombs, missiles, planes that burn in fuel and oil, this, that, and the other, it's still in that circle of trade that everybody depends on because it's like, are you really going to cut X, Y, and Z off because they're doing this, that, and the other that violate human rights? And are you really going to cut them off? No. Um, so it plays a big part, but again, it where does it stop?
Exactly, and that's my thing, right? We know that war, no matter what land is being waged on, it affects everything. Again, from food to gas to living to your day to day life. So
Hmm.
when we see war happen in different countries, it's kind of like we as a country, we may send resources, we may not, depending on what side of the coin you're on, meaning are you a friend or are you a foe? But regardless of what country is going through that, ordeal, it affects everybody.
Right. So let me talk about China real quick.
All right.
Um, China, which we have a shaky relationship with, so to speak, and they're kind of like buddies with Russia. Um, in 2020, U.S. goods and services trade with China totaled an estimated $615.2 billion in 2020. Exports were 164.9 billion. Imports were 450.4 billion. US goods and trade US goods and service trade deficit with China was 285.5 billion in 2020. China is currently our largest goods trading partner with 559.2 billion in trade two-way goods trade during 2020. Goods exports 124.5 billion, goods export 434.7 billion. The US goods trade deficit with China was 310.3 billion in 2020. So
Yeah, you gotta get those. You gotta recoup those.
yeah, and there's the link to the China information. It's a lot more on both of those, but I just read a couple of lines. Um, yeah, China owes me a lot of stuff too, and I want my stuff. You delinquent. Let me get mines. Yeah.
So can each country stand on its own without trade markets, you think?
Hell no. Hell no. So here's the deal. And I'm no expert. I just know what I see with my own two eyes. Like
Right.
Miss Ty would say, I saw something. um so we need stuff for batteries for electric cars. And a lot of those parts are imported. Um we import a lot of oil from other countries. We import rubber from other countries. Um, yeah, just to put it simply, we depend on everyone for almost everything. So no, we every at this point you cannot. The world cannot exist without trade. I mean, if you really look at it, trade is nothing new. You know, back when they had wooden ships, they were sailing around the world trading this, that, and the other. Um, and as technology advanced, as time went by, trade became, a bigger thing and a bigger thing. So nah, we can't. The world cannot exist without it.
I'm I'm of a different opinion. I think that certain countries may be able to stand on their own better than other countries, simply because certain countries consume more than others. It's kind of like wanting as opposed to needing. You get what I'm saying? Like, what do you actually need? And because our countries or the world is moving, so rapidly with technology, it's kind of like the demand for certain materials is there. But on the flip side of that, again, that's more of a want. It's not necessarily a need. So I think, again, certain countries are better off standing on their own than others if they absolutely had to.
I will agree with you to this extent. You have countries, or not even whole countries. You have um, so- groups within countries. Um, yeah, we are the biggest and fattest consumers. Yes, we are. But you have certain pockets in the world that do not um, require or exist because of trades. Um, like for instance, there is a country, I can't remember if it's in near Asia or wherever, but it's one of those countries where outsiders can't go in because they've been the way they are for thousands of years, however long they've been there. And if any of us go there to where they are, they'll get sick, infected, and die off. So yes, there are places, parts of the world that can survive without trade. But I think the thing about it is we have come to a place in this world to where it's not that we need it to survive,
Right.
we need it to align. And what I mean by that is, like I said earlier, we have a vested interest in certain places and certain things, and others have vested interest in us. So the way that we've inserted our economy and stuff like that in those countries, they inserted themselves in ours. It has become a need, um, to a degree. Like, for instance, I drive a Hyundai Sonata. I don't need a Hyundai Sonata. I can go buy an American made car, but that's what I want. So that goes to your point. It's more of a want. But then if I buy an American car, um, if I buy an American car, then I still have to keep in mind that although I'm saying I'm buying an American car because I don't need that foreign car, I still have to look at the fact that in this American car, there are foreign products in there. And that goes back to how globally connected we are. Can we build a car with strictly American parts? Maybe, maybe not. But some of the stuff that is required to put in those cars has to come from other countries because some of that stuff is not native to our country.
True. Just to give you more statistics, Ms. Ty, you said we are one of the biggest and fattest consumers. Yes, we are. Totally in agreement. Um, Let me see. And this comes from public.wsu.edu. And this is consumption by the United States.
Mm.
Unfortunately, this was done back in 2005, so I'm sure these numbers are not as accurate. But the United States, Americans constitute 5% of the world's population by consuming 24% of the world's energy. On average, one American consumes as much energy as two Japans, six Mexicos. Um, well, let me back up. Two Japanese, six Mexicans, 13 Chinese, 31 Indians, 121, no, 128 Bangladesh, 307 Tanzanians, and 370 Ethiopians. So
And you,
for every one American, those are the statistics of how much more we consume
and you said
than
that's
people
from
in
when?
these countries.
2005?
Yep.
I can only imagine what it is now.
Yes.
Like, seriously.
It's crazy.
Wow.
So they're also saying the population is projected to increase by nearly 130 million people, the equivalent of adding another four states to the size of California by the year of 2050.
Mm.
So,
You know,
yeah,
the crazy thing about that is that trading for us, it's I'm just gonna say it's a necessity. And I say that because I don't know about where you are, but I know where I am. They're um building more and more houses, widening more and more highways and this, that, and the other. And that's taking up the natural land. So when you take up the natural land, you 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 downsize the natural habitat, which includes farming, forests, natural habitats, this, that, and the other. We already importing grains and stuff from Russia. We're already importing this stuff from other countries. So the less land that we have for all of these things, the more that we are going to need to increase our trade, which costs more money, which kind of puts us in a box to where we can't go slap somebody around for doing something because we have these bigger and bigger trade agreements. You know, just like China is friends with Russia, and China owns like can't remember what farm it is, but it's a farm that produces a famous ham. They own that farm in Virginia.
Yeah, I mean, it's no secret that China owns a lot of farmland here in the U.S.
Yeah.
um, and real estate. So it's yeah, you're gonna be mad at somebody who actually owns part of your land. That's kind of
Right, exactly. And it's perfectly legal. It's like,
yep,
and again, this is one of those things where people say, "Oh, the president this, the president that." No, it's the whole kit and caboodle around the world. Like every world leader, every government, it's everybody that. Yeah, you can say I don't like that person over there, but it's like, you suck. Hey, no, we gotta work out this trade and stuff over here. We gotta make it look good for the people.
yeah. I mean, when you see them on television shaking hands and kissing babies, believe me, there's a reason for that. But again, for those that don't know, a lot goes on behind the scenes that we don't see.
Yeah. Just like I can't remember the name of the gathering that we have on this side of the world with the United States, Canada, and in the South American countries. Um, Again, like we have trade agreements with Mexico and all those other countries down there, but they didn't want to hold this meeting because the U.S. didn't want Cuba a part of it, and it's like, you know, we got trade agreements with everybody. So it's like, how can you sit there and be like, I don't want you to come to the meeting, and probably got trade agreement with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with every country having trade agreements with allies and countries that don't share an alliance, how does that factor into your thoughts of globalization?
Say that again.
I said, with every country having trade agreements with allies and countries that don't share an alliance, how does that factor into your thoughts of globalization?
I mean, I think that ties into everything else that I said. I mean, I think I guess I'm gonna look at that like racism. It's weird.
Right.
It's really weird because you know it's weird that us in particular we are forced to have stand our ground on whatever principles that we stand our ground on, and then we also have our alliances with our allies, and we have our that include trade agreements. We have trade agreements with countries that we're not aligned with, and it's like, again, it's like racism. It's real weird. It's like, how do you have this picture of animosity with other countries, yet you're still trading with them? Um, and these are long-standing trade agreements that are not going anywhere. And it's like, yeah, well, you this and you that, we don't agree with you this, and we have our politicians literally in our face saying how much you know that this country this is wrong and that country that is wrong, but it's like y'all still have a signed agreement. So it's like, again, it's weird, like racism. It's just like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Isn't Guantanamo Bay in Cuba?
It is in Cuba.
Okay. So that's the thing that's again kind of weird to me is
Hmm.
you have so many or held so many embargoes against Cuba for so long, but you still had this facility there.
Hmm.
Why? If you hate this country or don't want to do business with this country that badly, why still have vested interest in it? So again, it's weird to the fact that I just don't want to talk to you, but we'll ride in this car together.
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought Cuba up, because I was looking that up. So on July 20th, 2015, Cuba, United States reopened their respective embassies and reestablished diplomatic relations. However, the U.S. trade embargo with Cuba remains in place, and most transactions between the United States and Cuba are prohibited. However, comma, Cuba is currently our 141st largest goods trading partner with 247 million in total two-way goods trade since during 2016. Good exports total 247 million. The US good trade surplus with Cuba is 247 million in 2016. Um, yeah,
Wow.
but wait, here's another point I want to throw in there.
All right.
U.S. goods exports to Cuba in 2015 were $180 million, down 40% from down 40% from 2014 and down 51% from 2005. And I'll post that link.
Yeah.
So you see what I mean? How this whole thing is weird, like racism. It's like we're all connected. So how does this make sense at all?
It doesn't. To people who are saying it doesn't, but I think the world's a little bit crazy and everybody's a little bit crazy. So they make it work.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. I just it's just weird.
Yeah.
It's just really weird.
But anyways, we just wanted to throw out a topic tonight that give people a little food for thought. Um, Again, we posted links and we cited our sources, so you guys feel free to check those out. Um, but anyway, we just want to thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Miss Ty and Miss
Sheila.
Sheila. Sheila be hanging in there with us.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
thank you for showing us love all the time. But
But
yeah, I mean, it's like Miss Ty. Everybody talks about relationship and blah blah blah. I don't want to talk about that all the time.
yeah,
So we got to throw something out there that's just like out the blue, like something that a lot of people just don't care to think about or even take into consideration when they look at the state of affairs in America or in the world, this, that, and the other. It's like, you know, you have all these issues with whoever, whatever, and hey, somewhere down the bloodline, it's your cousin.
So again, if you guys want to come on the platform or if you want to reach either Soul Toucher the Poet or myself, you can send an email to KingAndEye369 at gmail.com. Again, that is KingAndI369 at gmail.com. And again, thank you guys for hanging in here with us and tuning in. So until the next one,
We'll holler at you.
deuces to the truces.